Lady Charmaine, and my guest today is an actor, comedian, and entrepreneur. He can be heard weekdays, mornings in 195 markets around the country on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. He is known for his trademark phrase, "Watch out there now," and he's here today. And he's here today to talk about his new role on the Rickey Smiley Show on TV1. Help me welcome Peabody Award and NAACP Image Award winner, comedian J. Anthony Brown to the show.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Two-time NAACP Image Award. Two-time.
Oh, okay. I know that's right.
Hey,
2 times.
Hey,
you don't want to leave none of them out. Well, what a blessing to have you on the show. You know, we just love you. We call you what? America's Funny Man. And God has blessed you now. You're on a brand new show. We're about to talk about that. The Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Congratulations.
Oh, my God. The Rickey Smiley TV show.
There you go.
Okay.
The Rickey Smiley TV show.
But I guess we're all on each other's show because when Ricky's on, I listen to Ricky, and when I'm on, Ricky listens to me, and we listen to Steve, and we all listen to each other. And because one of the reasons I listen to Ricky and Steve, and they probably listen, sometimes they'll have a new story that we haven't heard about. And so, you kind of switch the dial and say, "Oh, Steve got the story about this lady, getting married to an alligator." And so then you can have people look it up, and then we can go do it ourselves. So we kind of all listen to each other. I know I do, and then we're all friends. I was in Steve's movie, and I'm on the Rickey Smiley television show. So it's kind of like a cross promotion. They have an audience that I don't have, and we have an audience that they don't have. So everybody kind of cross promotes.
But the one thing that's great that's going on right now, it's like it's the year of the comedian. Because as you see, I got mixed up. The Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Now Rickey Smiley, he got 2 television shows. Steve Harvey, the Steve Harvey Morning Show, Steve Harvey TV show. Boy, sister can't keep up, but I'm trying. And now it's your turn to start getting your own stuff too. So we waiting on that.
Yeah, well, we were talking off air about me. I have a club in Los Angeles, and I'm very interested in launching my own internet radio show. I would not call myself a minister, but that being said, I'm totally blessed. You look at it. I was in the #1 black movie last year, which is Steve Harvey, Think Like a Man. I'm on the #1 sitcom, which is the Rickey Smiley television show. I'm on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. That's all blessings from the man upstairs. I had nothing to do with it. It's him looking down on me and say, here's something else I'm going to give you. So that's just a blessing. You dream, but you don't know how your dreams are going to be fulfilled. And it's bigger than what I thought it would be. Much bigger. And I had nothing to do with it.
And that's the one thing I was going to say that's really amazing, how no matter how old we are, God is continuing to unfold blessings that we never even thought imaginable.
I'm telling you, man, to be called to do a sitcom at this age, and, and that's why when I go to the set, I know my line. Because I'm like, there ain't that many parts for guys my age, so I'm not going to be here playing. You guys can play if you want to play, but James Brown's going to know his lines when my scene come up. So I'm ready, and I stay focused. And it wasn't easy for Ricky either, because the problem was, and it wasn't a problem, we just had to do it to work it out, was even after we did the show, we taped the show, we had to get up in the morning and do a radio show. And not do a radio show, but be entertaining and be energetic and be funny, So that's just something that, if we didn't have our mindset, had God not give us the mindset, you couldn't do this. You just couldn't do it, So it's a blessing not just to be able to do it, but to do something else after you did this. So all of that is cool.
Now, how do you balance, speaking of that, how do you balance having a successful morning show and then being on a successful TV show, and you have a comedy club? How do you balance and keep it all in balance and keep yourself sane as well?
Well, you gotta delegate. That's something you have to learn, that you have to do. Sabrina, and I have a publicist, and I have a manager, and they, in terms of get stuff and say, "Jay, you should be here at this particular time." When I go on the road, I have a guy by the name of Van, and he says, "Jay, I got the luggage. You go to the room. You already checked in." So, when you have people helping you, when I remember a couple of weeks ago, President Obama, they made this big thing about that when you have a restaurant, you didn't build that. And it wasn't that he said you didn't build the business and you didn't do it all by yourself. But in any endeavor that you have in life, I don't care what it is, somebody is going to help you, and you got a team of people helping you to do it. You don't do anything by yourself. If it's nothing but being blessed from upstairs, somebody helps you do everything.
Right.
And that's basically the way I kind of live my life. I've learned to delegate and get good people surround me. And I've had a lot of bad people, but now I have good people that are helping me put things together. So just get you a nice team of people. Sometimes it can be family, and sometimes it can be friends. And I've also found out that whenever you start to do something in life, it's amazing the help you'll get from strangers that you won't get from your own family. It is amazing. It never ceases to amaze me of strangers who find out you're going to do something and go, you know what, I know this person, and I'm not doing that, but, here, call this person. He's doing the same thing you're doing, and maybe y'all can hook up and be friends. And that's just the way life is. You'll get a lot of help from strangers just by opening your mouth and let people know what it is you're doing.
Amen. And that is I'm so glad you said that, because I could harp on that, but I'm not, because I got some stories myself. But
yeah, I mean, I've been blessed. I mean, my son works with me at my club and runs my club, but it wasn't always a smooth ride with my son and I. It hasn't always been a smooth ride. We've been through ups and downs. I just met this young man last week. I had the opportunity to go do a show in Tupelo, Mississippi, and I'm trying to find his name while we talk. But I did a show in Tupelo, Mississippi, and it was a young minister. I'm trying to find his name while we talk. Well, we can talk. That's one thing about this. You don't have to. Anyway, I go down there to do a show for him, and I never met this guy in my life, And to make a long story short, well, the turnout wasn't the way he thought it was going to be, so he didn't have the all of the money. But just something said to me, it's really not that big of a deal. I've been blessed so many times, and to come to this place for this guy and go, well, if you got my money, that type of stuff. I was blessed to be there. The people who were there came to see a show. This young minister was trying to put something together, and I made a new friend, which was something that if I'd have just walked in there and got the money and left, all of those things and us connecting probably never would have happened. So for me, I got something more out of it. Pastor Howard, he has a church in Tupelo, Mississippi. If you get a chance to check him out, man, go check this young brother out. He's 28 years old, good family guy, and I'm so glad I met this guy. My life is so enriched by meeting him that had I went in there and probably just got my money and left, we never would have connected on something that he needed and something that I could give him, which was something he didn't have. He didn't have the money to give, but he came to me with his honesty, and I respected that. And now I have a friend that I never probably would have had before. Not that he's beholden to me, because I know it's no big deal, but the honesty of this guy. I mean, I was very moved by the ministry that he's trying to work with, and I'm glad I got that from him. So, you never know what you're going to get from somebody. You never know what somebody's going to give you. It's not always money. It doesn't always have to have a monetary value connected to it.
Now, that was wisdom speaking right there. Now, for most of you that are listening, and when you go out and they may not have your finances, listen to what J. Anthony Brown just said. That was wisdom. He gained a friend, which was far more than finances. And I'm so glad you say you appreciate that. Now, that touched my heart today. That did. that touched my heart. That was a blessing. Now, I want to talk about the Rickey Smiley Show. Tell us about the role that you play, and also how did you land that role?
Well, it's God's thing. It really is. I'm not trying to sound like a minister. But
no, praise him. Give him the praise.
Rickey Smiley's manager is a young lady by the name of Yolanda Starks. Many, many years ago, when I started comedy, and I'm telling you many years ago, this young lady was just a J. Anthony Brown fan. I was working at a small club in in Atlanta, in Los Angeles. And some of your listeners may have been to this place called Maverick's Flat. It's been around for years. It was this little rundown club, but it had a legacy connected to it because back in the day, it was the club where all the entertainers would go to. And well, by the time I got connected to it, it was on its last leg. But this comedian, this radio jock by the name of Rico Reed had an idea to put comedy in there. They were already having comedy at this place called the Comedy Act Theater, where the legendary Robin Harris was working out of. But he didn't have a liquor license. But he was going to sell drinks and cake and stuff like that to make money. We opened this thing up, and what the selling factor was, kids who couldn't go to regular clubs could come to Maverick's Flat because there was no liquor license. We're talking kids 16, 17, 18 years old to come, and we would literally have lines around the block where kids would come in and see me perform. I mean, and I still, to this day, get people come and say, man, I used to see you when I was a little. I'm like, you're still a little person. But that being said, it was just one of those places. It was really, really hot. It was a hot club. She would see me in this club. She was the executive producer for Tom Jordan. Meant she got all the talent. She told Tom about me. She said, you got to get this guy on his show. It's nothing but an interview. He's funny. He's the funniest person in the world. Tom puts me on the show. We do an interview. At that particular time, Tom was putting all the people on the show who actually had a set on Def Jam that was really stood out. For instance, Bernie Mac, Del Gibbons, some more, Steve Harvey, everybody who just pretty much was up. Chris Tucker, we were all just starting out at that time. And we all ended up doing an interview on the Tom Jordan show. After the interview, I tell Yolanda, I said, man, I want to do radio. I was already doing Rico's show at that particular time. And I said, I'll come on your show, man, and I'll come on for free. Just let me on your show. I got these song parodies, the Murder, the Hit. I'm playing them in L.A. I'll give you one every week. I'll give you a different one every week. I swear I will. Just put me on your show. He says, well, let me hear these songs. I sent him like 10 of the songs. He says, that's great. I love it. We're going to go with this Friday. We're going to put you on every Friday. You come in, you introduce your segment, yada, yada, yada. Well, that Friday ended up being all-day Friday, and all-day Friday ended up being 5 days. That's how I got on the show. That's my story. Now, that's my story. If you ask Tom Joyner how Jay got on the show, he's going to say, Jay showed up one day and he never left. And that's what he's going to say. So it's two different stories.
So how did you connect with Rickey Smiley for his show?
Rickey Smiley Yolanda is his lawyer. It's his manager.
So then she just moved you over there.
Yeah. Well, I'd already been friends with Rickey, before he got the show. I know Rickey. It's a small community of comedians. Mm-hmm. It's a very small community. Like all ministers know each other. All radio people know each other. All comedians pretty much know each other. So at some point in your career, you're going to end up working with everybody. You know all these people. So that's just the way it went. And Rickey had always promised me, said, man, sometimes we do shows together, and comedians are notorious if a comedian is working somewhere, and especially if it's a comedian you like, you'll go on stage and y'all cut the crazy and, just kind of build up a rapport. So we did that. And that's something that happened with me and Rickey. A couple times I'd be working in Dallas and he'd come in and we'd act cool on the stage, or he'd be doing a big show and I'd walk out. It's just that type of rapport. And when he got the show, but now here's the other thing. A lot of people will say, when I get such and such, I'm going to pull you in. If I had $1 for every time somebody said that, I'd be a gazillionaire. But this particular time, it just happened. He got the show and he called me and he gave me the part of Maurice, and the rest is history. That's just the way it happened.
You and Ebony Steele have the same testimony. One thing I could say is that Rickey Smiley, I don't know him, never met him, that he is a man of his word. Because Ebony Steele said that Rickey told her one day, if he ever get a show, he's going to bring her on the show. And when he finally got his own radio show, he brought in Ebony Steele. And that's what she told me on the show. And then you said...
Rickey Smiley, I mean, I absolutely love this brother. This dude is younger than me. But this dude is so focused on his journey in life in terms of what he has to do that it's just unbelievable. A lot of people don't know that show that you see, that's Rickey's life. You know, that's why the Bernie Mac show was so good, because Bernie Mac was portraying his life. He was raising his kids. He was raising his stepkids, his sister's kids. Rickey is raising his kids. And he does work in a radio show. So when he does that, when he does those contrasts between going to the radio show and going to the home, that's his life.
Wow.
I mean, for me, radio, that's my life. I'm in a radio station, 4 hours a day and have been for 15 years. So you put a set together and it's a radio setting. I've seen Maurice. I don't know everything there is to know about radio, but I'm very comfortable inside of a radio station.
Right.
I'm very comfortable, running a business, And so the things that we have to act out are just very easy. And I understand why so many actors get upset at rappers because they get parts in movies. Well, you got to understand, a rapper who's been rapping for 10 or 15 years, he's done 1 million videos, so he's comfortable in front of the camera. He already has a fan base, so it makes sense for a producer to put Lil Spit in the movie, because Lil Spit has an audience. And you can't get mad because you've been going to acting school for 20 years. You maybe have been in 2 or 3 movies. He's going to put Lil Spit in the movie. Lil Spit can act. He's been acting like all that stuff in the video is his. That's acting. It takes acting to act like that. That stuff ain't his stuff.
That's good.
He acts like all the women in the video love him. That's acting. He is an actor. So you can't take the fact away that they keep putting these rappers in these movies. Most of them can act. They can act. Mm-hmm. They've been acting for years. They act like that stuff in the video is theirs. They act like all the women love him. They act like they have all that money. A lot of people don't know when that video is over with, they count that money, and that big wad of money better be there. It's acting.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
We can act, and it's the same thing with comedians. We've been doing this for 10 or 15 years, going to Tuscaloosa, going to Miami, going to Birmingham. We're acting on stage, so in most cases, you put us in front of the camera, we can act. Mm-hmm. We've been acting. And it's not to take away from the fact that actors can't act. I'm not saying that, but sometimes these comedians and these rappers bring more to the table. They bring an audience or a fan base that you put. I'm not taking anything from any of these actors, but you can take some of these major actors and put them in a movie. They got a fan base. They got a following. They sold millions of records. So their fans are going to go see them in a movie.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That's just the way it works.
That's true. Hey, you are such a natural actor, because I watched the show and you come across so naturally. It doesn't look like they gave you some lines and they said, okay, say these lines. It is so a part of you. That Maurice is hilarious with his young ex-wife.
Maurice is a mess. Maurice. Well, Maurice is me. I know it's me. It's easy to portray that character. It's me. We got some episodes and some ideas coming up down the line that are very fun. We do a talent show, and I'm telling you, I know it comes on tonight. I don't know when it's the air, but it comes on Tuesday night. But we do a talent show with Miss Bernice, and it's Rickey when he does Miss Bernice, and when he does Joe. Oh, I can't think of Joe Willie. Joe Willie in the Deuteronomy is. When he does that character, and he does these characters, it is so believable. This guy goes to church every Sunday. And I told Rickey last week, we were in church together. I went to his church in Birmingham. I said, Ricky, you don't go to church to pray. You go to get material. You're going to get jokes. That's what you go to church for. So we sat there and we laughed. You just cannot sit next to Ricky in church, man. You just can't do it. It's impossible to do. Because he's pointing stuff out, and I'm trying to listen to the word. He's pointing at people, but the character Maurice is it's a natural for me, and I'm thankful to have that character because I think it's me. And the comparison is Stan on the Martin Show, where he just gets to say more. That's all.
Now
I see more up, yeah.
Now, Jay, another character that was so natural for you was in Drumline. You played that role. That was so. Me and my kids just watched it. As a matter of fact, about 2 weeks ago, we watched it. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I went to Grambling State, so I know all about the Battle of the Bands. So, of course, I was in love with Drumline. Tell us, how did you prepare for that role?
Well, that's just, that was just me. First of all, a lot of people don't know that I can play the drums. And when I auditioned for that part, they were looking for an actor that could play the drums. So the part of the audition was you had to send them a tape of you playing the drums, which I did. What was so weird about it, I've been in L.A. I can't even think how long I've been there. And I would go on so many auditions, and people would tell you, okay, we're going to call you. And the rule in L.A. if you go on an audition is, if they don't call you, you didn't get it. So don't call them. Okay? If we don't call you, don't call us. It's kind of like a girlfriend that breaks up with you. If she don't call you, she ain't really thinking about you, okay? So don't call her.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that's the rule in L.A. So they called me to go audition for the drumline role. And Mr. God, I can't think of his name. Anyway, his character, the loud suit that he wears. But that was part of the audition. They told me to make sure you wear the loudest suit, and I have a lot of loud suits. I got a lot of them, and I was determined that day not to wear them. I said, I'm not going on there dressed like a fool, and then I don't get this part. I'm not going to drive down to some audition in a tangerine suit, and I got a tangerine suit too. I'm not doing it. So I just go out there, and the guy says, well, where's the loud suit? I said, I forgot. I didn't know that's what they wanted. He said, well, can you play the drums? I said, yeah, I can play. So they rotate, and I play for them. And I think that's how I got the role. But the guy who did the movie, the director, Charles Stone, was impressed with me doing some comedy. So it's always been a connection in terms of comedy that people see you and say, well, you might be good for this part. And that's how I got Drumline.
Yeah, and you played that role, too. That was good. Was acting always a passion of yours, or did you just stumble into it?
I never thought about being an actor. I just thought about being a comedian. I never thought about I would be on the radio. I mean, when I started out and when I left my mom's home, I really wanted to be a comedian. I was really interested in that. I liked that part of it. And I wanted to be a comedian, but I started out, my first, how do you say, well, this is what I want to be in life. It was to be a fashion designer. It was to be a tailor. And I did that for a long time. I did that for about 10 or 15 years. And it was weird because while I was a tailor in Atlanta, I was also going around telling jokes to different places. There was a place, if your listeners that are familiar with Atlanta, there's a place called Mr. V's Figure 8, and that's where I got my really big start. He had this thing called The Gong Show. He made me the host of The Gong Show, and that just changed my life because it allowed me to go up and perform every Monday night. And every Monday night, I had a place to perform, and I did the same stuff I'm doing on Tom. I did songs. I did characters. I did poetry. I wore costumes. Well, I took all the money that I made and I put it back into that show. I'd go rent a chicken studio. I'd walk out. Just because I wanted to do something different. And if you notice, when I hosted Comic View, that's the type of show I brought. That's the type of show I did. I just did different stuff. I didn't want to be a comic who just came out and told jokes. I think I can do that very well. I'm blessed to do that. but I wanted people to see. I mean, one night I dressed up like the female dancers. I came out and I had on the same costume the dancers had on. One night I came out and I planted a guy that was a male dancer in the audience. He took his shirt off. I took my shirt. So I wanted to do those type of things. That's the type of comedy I like. And that's what Rickey does. You go see a Rickey Smiley Show, it's just crazy. It's just, Rickey will do anything. And I will too. And that's probably why we get along so good together.
And I see that because your story, I didn't even realize how wide range your story was. You were a staff writer for the Arsenio Hall show. I said, who would
I wrote for the Arsenio Hall show, and I'll show you how sometimes, and I always tell people this, do not let what you don't have, and I'm going to say this again, never let what you don't have get in the way of what you want. And by that I mean sometimes people say, well, I don't have this, so I can't get that. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have this, so I can't get that. You'll never have everything you want to go after something else you want. I mean, all your ducks are never going to be in a row. You just have to go at it. I knew I couldn't spell, and I knew I couldn't type. But I knew that there were people out there who could spell and type, and all I had to do was take a portion of my salary and bring that person along with me, and I would be fine. And that's what I did.
Wow.
I couldn't spell, I couldn't type, but I'm funny, and all I got to do is say, you sit right here, and you dictate everything I say, and we both going to have a job for a long time. And that's what I did. And this was before texting. This was before a fax machine. Can you believe I actually had a job before there was a fax machine? I would get up in the morning, I would call this lady on the phone, and I would tell her my jokes. And sometimes she didn't get them. They didn't make sense to her. And I would have to drive to this lady's house, pick up my 2 pages of jokes, and I drive to Arsenio. I turn in my jokes. Now I'm free for the rest of the day. If I had a rewrite, I'd get with somebody who could type. So that's what I'm saying. You never let what you don't have get in the way of what you want. You know, you people will say, well, I'm not educated, so I can't be a doctor. You can be a doctor. Just go and seek your education to be a doctor. Or I can't open a business because I don't have the finance. If you let that get in the way and then you stop going or stop trying to achieve what it is you want in life. And I never would do that to myself. I just wouldn't do it. I just would not let what I didn't have stop me from what I wanted. I wanted to write for Arsenio, and I did it. I wanted to be on the Tom Jones Show, and I did it. I wanted to be an actor, and I did it. With the blessings of the man upstairs.
And God blessed you to perform on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Let's talk about that.
Oh, my God. It was just, that was another, I wanted to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show so bad. And I said, you know what? I'm going to write Oprah a song. I'm going to write a song every week. And I wrote a song called Oprah Winfrey, you messing with me. And then I wrote another song, oh, Oprah Winfrey, won't you please just have me on your show, Oprah Winfrey. And every week I wrote a different song. So Oprah comes on the show, and she said, yeah, Jay, I heard your song. Yeah, you tell me about your song. I said, okay, Oprah, look, I know I'm not going to be on your show. Can I just get tickets to come to the show when I'm in Chicago? He said, okay, we'll let you come on the show. Now, I go to do the Oprah Winfrey Show. I go to see the Oprah Winfrey Show. At the end of the show, people start saying, that's Jay. She goes, hey, Jay. And they said, you don't know, but he wrote songs for you. She said, I heard them. They said, the audience, you never heard the songs, Oprah, and they made me sing the song. Oprah said, okay. Then I get a call, you're going to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I go on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and I had this joke about my mother and father, which was how my mom would call my dad's voice constantly. And he would act as if he didn't hear her. And they did this for years. My mother would go, Brown, 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 Brown. And she would get so frustrated. I know he heard me. I just saw him go in the back like that. Brown, 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 Brown. I said, Mom, won't you leave his hand alone? He just don't want to be bothered. He's back there, watch this. And I go, Daddy. And he goes, what you want? and that was a joke. She played that joke so much on her show, and that's how I got on Oprah Winfrey Show.
That is amazing. I love your story because you didn't let anything get in your way. It's like whatever you set out to do, it didn't matter what it was. And you gave some nuggets on this show today. Don't allow what you don't have to stop you from getting what you want. And if don't nobody get nothing, go ahead.
Somebody's going to be touched by that. Somebody's going to say, I want to be a doctor, but I can't go to medical school. Well, you never know. You could write an article, or you could put something in the newspaper, and there's somebody that will send you to medical school. Or you want to open a business, and you might not can open a business, but you might could go and work for a person who's up in age who might want to turn their business over to you. So there's always a way to achieve what it is you want. But your wants have to be stronger than, and I tell people this also all the time. Man, determination. If you're so determined to do something in life, it is the strongest will you can have. Belief and determination will be education. It'll be somebody giving you something. Because you're so determined, you find ways to get it done. We all know a person that says, say R. Kelly is coming, and they say, well, I don't have tickets to go to the R. Kelly concert. And they say, well, I'm going to that concert. You say, well, you ain't got no money. I don't know, but I love R. Kelly, and I'm getting in the R. Kelly concert. You pay your money to go to the concert. You go to the concert. You see them inside. And you say, well, how did you get up? And then all they say to you is what? I told you I was coming to see R. Kelly. And that's what determination is. It's having a will so strong that your situation and your surroundings can't stop you. It just cannot stop you. They just cannot stop you. For the simple reason you've seen so many people come from poverty and come from on the street who are downtrodden to become successful people. Well, that's because their dream and their determination is stronger than their surroundings. You can look at your surroundings. Anybody can look at their surroundings and go, well, this is it. I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. But when you dream past where you are, it makes you stronger. It's belief. That's what belief is. That's what it is. That's what faith is. Having belief in something stronger than your surroundings. That's basically what faith is. That's what religion is all about. This might be what I'm going through, but what I believe inside of me is stronger than the situation I'm in. So I feel good about myself. I feel positive about myself. There's nothing you can say to me, even because you have money or because you have more than me, can make me feel bad. I feel so good about my faith and my surroundings and what's inside of me that what you have don't even matter to me. The way you talk to me, that don't even matter because I'm gonna rise above this. We've all met people when you're walking down the street, and you might meet a guy who's shining shoes, and his attitude is so nice. He's so happy to do this. Or you might meet a person who might be selling papers or whatever, just selling hot dogs, and their attitude, and here you are, you make more than the guy selling hot dogs. You make more than the person who makes less than you, but he feels good about what he's doing. And when you do that, the way you carry yourself throughout the day makes you strong. It makes you believe in yourself. It gives you a sense of, life ain't that bad because I really feel good about what I'm doing.
Your story is so powerful. I think you have another calling that's coming up out of there. J. Anthony Brown, God is pulling some other stuff out of you right now. I hear the preacher, the inspirational speaker, the motivational speaker.
Yeah, I would love to motivate people. I love to talk to kids and stuff like that who just, it's amazing what you can give people just by your words. I did that show for that minister this week, and if you've ever seen me do a show, it's my show. It ain't got a lot of Bible quotes in it. I like to say that it don't have a lot of Bible quotes in it. It's got a lot of terrorism, but that minister, he said something to me that made and I never looked at it. I always try to go, well, my show's not clean. My show's not clean. He said, and I never forget this. He said, words are only bad when they're directed to hurt somebody. if your words that come out of your mouth are directed to make people laugh and feel good about themselves and bring joy in them, those aren't bad words. The words are only bad when you direct them to hurt people. And that's the way it is. It's like maybe the N-word or any other word. Don't get me wrong, words are very hurtful, but it's how you use words. It's how we all listen to Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor had the filthiest mouth. We all listen to Red Fox, and nobody even remembers the cursing. You remember him making you laugh, making you feel good about yourself. Now, we all know somebody who has cursed you out and belittled you, and so those same words were used in different tones, but they made you feel differently because one set of words were used to make you laugh, and the other set of words were used to make you belittle you and make you feel bad about yourself. So when he said that to me, and look, that's what I got from him.
Wow.
I got that from him. I just met this guy, and I'm so happy that I got that from him. So it's been such a help to me.
This is amazing. Your interview is so great. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm taking notes. I am. I got a little note sheet right here. And as you were talking, I was taking notes, find ways to get it done. I mean, you said some stuff that was some really good nuggets. And I want people to know that J. Anthony Brown, the businessman, you have a successful comedy club in Los Angeles. First, tell me, what made you want to start your own comedy club?
Well, number one, I got so tired of going in the comedy club in LA and not being able to get up. I got so tired of, these clubs in LA not really having a place for young black comedians to go up constantly where there would be a consistency of black shows. Now, here's something I do. I make sure I have a female on every show. I make sure I have different ethnicities on my show, meaning Hispanic, Asian, white. I make sure the show is mixed like that. But for the most part, it is a black comedy club, and it is a black audience. And I do want white people to come. But for the most part, it is a place where black comics can go up consistently 6 to 7 nights a week and perform. And by that, I mean, L.A., as big as it is, on the weekend, if you're black and you're not a big name, you're not going to get on these main stages in L.A. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You're going to come in there on what I call, every club has what is known as Negro night, colored night, slave night, darker than white people night, people with kinky hair night. They all have these nights. And if you look around the club, I don't know where you are, if you look around, you notice that these white comedy clubs, Funny Bones, these Yuck Yucks, these Ha-Has, these Hee-Hees, these Hopefuls, they're bringing in these black comics because they know for a fact that we sell more tickets than anybody they got. A lot of these clubs have gone totally black. They've gone totally black, consistently bringing in black comics. But that does not happen in L.A. So we know the power that we have. We know we're funnier. I know that we're funnier. Two things that happen to us. We're funnier. We don't get all the sitcoms. I mean, I'm not surprised that Hollywood had to come out with a show called Another White Show with Nothing But White People, and that should be the name of it. Just don't even come up with these stupid names, because you hear a show coming on television where you think black people would be on it. There's a show on HBO called Hung. It's about a man who's endowed. I'm thinking, okay, I know somebody black gonna get this part. No black people. There's a show on TV called Weed, where this lady is selling weed. All right, you would think that this show would be full of black people. Now here's the kicker. There's a show on television called Two Broke Chicks, and it's starring two white women who were acting like they're broke.
I'm sorry. Even my husband said that should have been two black women up there.
Yeah. I'm just like, I know two black women gonna get this show.
That's funny.
That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. There's so much work. I have a white girl who writes for me. Her name is Kimberly. She writes songs. She writes some of the song parodies. She writes jokes from time to time. And she lives in Memphis. And I tell her, girl, You need to get your butt out of Memphis and go to Hollywood. You got so much going for you. You're a woman, you're white. And if you look at television, it's white show, interjected by white people doing the commercials, going to white people doing the news, showing a little bit of black people getting in trouble, brought to you by more white people. This show is sponsored by white people. And I'm not saying it's not a racist thought. It's not a racist statement. That's the way it is. It's white people after white people after white people after white people. Now we got BET as the Black Network, but if it wasn't for BET or TV One, there would be no black shows. Right. They're not going to create them. They're not going to create them. I mean, it's just not going to happen. You go on audition and I go on audition, I see people who are in Color Purple auditioning to be the butler in a movie. I'm like, why are you here? And you're there because there's nothing else.
Right.
There's no job. There's no plays. You go to Broadway, it's all black, white people. You go to television, you turn on the radio, you go up and down the channel of Sirius, they got all the radio stations. So unless we create our own, we ain't going to have nothing. We won't. So they're not going to do it for us. They're just not.
And so that's why you created the J-Spot? That's
why I created J-Spot, and to make money.
We can't forget about that one. Amen. That's a blessing. And I want to talk again about the businessman. You have a clothing line. Talk to us about
I'm getting ready to start another clothing line. I had one before, and it wasn't as successful as I wanted to be, so I'm starting it out again. I have a tuxedo line coming out this fall called What the Tux, and it's going to be a line of tuxedos that we're putting together. And I had that, but that was because I went to school to become a tailor, so I kind of know that business. It could have been much more successful had I had a hands-on approach to it, and the next time I do it, it will.
Okay.
So what I do have is a line of hot sauces called, I have a hot sauce line. I have a website called Hotter Than a Mofo. So all you have to do is go to the website called Hotter Than a Mofo.
Okay.
And that is the name of it, and it is exactly what it says. Hotter Than a Mofo.
Now, I love hot sauce. When I saw you had hot sauce, now do you still have your brand of honey?
I don't have the honey anymore. I just have the hot sauce. I have 4 gourmet hot sauces, and the real hot sauce, which is the Hotter Than a Mofo sauce, which is really, 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 really hot.
Okay, and you also have CDs and comedy videos that people can purchase?
CDs, yes. I'm constantly doing CDs and comedy videos and trying to produce a television show, so I'm pretty busy.
And I was just getting ready to ask you, what do you have coming up in the future? So you steady producing. I know you want to do your internet radio show, and then you're working on a television show?
Just from talking to you, and I know Rodney Perry has an internet radio show, and just from talking to you, the next time we talk, by Thanksgiving, I will have launched my internet radio show. I have all the equipment inside my club to do the show, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to put that equipment in my house, and I'm going to do the show. I know I'm going to do it. I'm going to start talking it up now, and once you say the words, once you state it, that puts it into action. First you think it, then you say it, then you do it.
Well, all I know is everything you've said thus far, you have done thus far. So we know by November, because it only takes a hot second to get it started. So that's fantastic.
Well, trust me, I'm going to be calling you because I'm going to be stealing some ideas from you, and I'm ready to go with this thing. I am so ready. I got a national show to talk about it, and I can drive traffic to my internet show off of my national show. So I got a leg up already.
Yes, you do. Amen. If people wanted to follow you and they wanted to keep in contact with you to find out when your show is going to be starting, are you on Twitter, Facebook?
I'm on Twitter at jspot.com, at jspot, Comedy Club, and I'm on Twitter, and I tweet a lot, and I'm on Facebook. I'm always putting up videos and stuff on Twitter and on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram.
On Instagram as well. So we just follow you at J-Spot. Is it the J-Spot or just J-Spot?
The J Spot.
The J Spot. That is real simple. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I mean, it was a pleasure having you. It was more than a pleasure. It was an educational moment. You gave us some wisdom. I mean, you gave us some pearls of wisdom to encourage people and to motivate people. And that's what I really love on my show, when people can feel like they really got something from the interview. And not only did we learn about your shows and what you did, we learned about the man, J. Anthony Brown. So thank you for sharing yourself with us today.
Oh, thank you. I had a great time. You can hit me up at J Spot at J Spot Comedy Club. That's my handle.
At J Spot Comedy Club. And we want to remind everyone to make sure you watch the Rickey Smiley Show Tuesdays on TV One, 9/8 Central. The show is very funny. And you can also go to tv1online.com to check out more.
Yes. And we're gonna make sure Maurice has more songs, and we're gonna produce some of those songs, and like the one we did last week, Bumping on the Moon. We're gonna put together an album on. All you Martians and Martianless, it's gonna be a funky set. Everybody bumping on the moon.
Yeah, we're gonna keep Maurice in our prayers.
All right.
Amen.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.